This is Baruch chapter 14, verse 15. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 15. For he has brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language.
Of a strange language, because the Negro Latinos and Native Americans speaking Hebrew. Okay? Okay? When they came over here to this landmass, to the Americas, the indigenous people over here were speaking Hebrew. Okay? They greeted them Spaniards with Shema Yasha Yahawah Allahai YAHAWAH, meaning Hero Israel, the Lord our power is one. So they were speaking Hebrew, man, when they came over here. Okay? When the Edomites, Spaniards came over here, they were speaking Hebrew. Alright? And back on the other side of the water, our people were speaking Hebrew, but when the Romans came in military, they were speaking Latin. And you had some of our people speaking Greek, going back to the Hasmonean dynasty, dealing with Antiochus Epiphanes and what was taking place at that time. How our people were going to be forced to lose the Hebrew and start speaking Greek. So that was happening. So we did again.
This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 15. For he has brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language.
Yeah, so the nations that the Most High used to put us in captivity, we didn't understand that language. So now, and he said, and he asked me, he said, why are we speaking this language? I told him, I said, look, the scriptures say in Jeremiah the 17th chapter that we don't discontinue from our heritage. So we being in this condition, we was going to be in slavery, and our heritage was going to be lost. And part of our heritage was speaking Hebrew. So wherever the Israelites are scattered today, that's what language they speaking, man, up under that nation, man. Okay, go ahead.
Who neither reverence old men.
Yeah, neither reverence old men, meaning respect. Go ahead.
Nor pitied child.
Yeah, nor pitied child, man. So they didn't respect the old man, the child, man. They didn't acknowledge him when we was in slavery, and they don't acknowledge him today. These Edomites don't acknowledge you Negro Latinos and Native Americans today, man. They'll blow you down, man, with no problem, and pose, and like me and the brother were discussing before the camera come on, they'll gun you down and pose as if they just shot animal or a game, like they just shot a moose or a bear or a deer, okay? High-fiving each other. That's the way these nations look at you. And Esau is at the top of it, okay? He's the #1 enemy. And he on the Most High hidden it. Go ahead.
Verse 16. These have carried away the dear beloved children.
Yeah, the dear beloved children. Who is that? Israel.
Of the widow.
Yeah, of the widow. Go ahead.
And left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters.
Go ahead.
But what can I help you? Question. For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies.
So the Most High put us in this position because we made him angry. But he said he's going to help us and deliver us. So he's going to send his son back. But we got to wait and run this course and play out this movie to get the understanding of the Heavenly Father and his Son, and learn wickedness and righteousness, because all we knew was wickedness on the earth. Okay, that's all we knew. But now we're coming back to the truth and we learning righteousness. So that brings balance, man. That brings balance. So we learning, man. We learning from our mistakes and how we rebelled against the Heavenly Father and his Son. But in the meantime, while we catching hell as a nation of people, right? Collectively, I'm talking about amongst the Negro Latinos and Native Americans. Collectively, as a nation of people, we catching hell because we rebelled against YAHAWASHI. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Go your way, O my children, go your way, for I am left desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace, and put upon me the sackcloth of my prayer.
Yeah, mourning, man. Because peace is no harm coming to you. You at ease, you're prosperous. But he said he put on mourning. So that's Israel's catching hell, man. In slavery. Go ahead. And we still catching it. Go ahead.
I will cry unto the everlasting in my days.
Right. That's Ezra saying that. Go ahead.
Be of good cheer, O my children. Cry unto the Lord, and he shall deliver you from the power and hands of the enemies.
Yeah, and he was like, and he said to me, he was like, well, he said, well, why would God, you know what I'm saying, I'm using his term. He said, why would God do us like that? And he loved us. Hey, the Most High chastised and disciplined who he loves, okay? You're gonna receive good and evil. So he was saying, well, the Most High used the devil? I was like, yeah, Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light, I create darkness, I create good, I create evil, I, the Lord, do all these things. So he's a balanced power, okay? You see the light in the heavens, which is the sun, and when the sun goes down, you see darkness. But when you go into the, in Genesis, in the first chapter, that word, that God is Alahayim. And his buddy that was on the phone, he kept pronouncing it another way, which was Yiddish. Elohim or something. And I was telling him, nah, that's Yiddish. It's Alahayim. And I showed the guy that was standing in front of me, showed the guy that was standing in front of me the Hebrew character. And he was nodding his head like, yeah, ain't no E in there. And I told him, I said, ain't no U, ain't no V, just in case he's gonna go somewhere else. But I told him the real pronunciation of the word God there when you read the book of Genesis. In the first book of Genesis, in the first verse, that word there is Alahayim, which means power and judgment. But when you go to Isaiah 45 and 7, it says, I create light and I create darkness. Well, the Most High get the credit for that because he's sanctioned YAHAWASHI and the angels, to bring everything forth and put these elements together, and that's what you see today. The elements being put together and we being put together. No pictures of me, Satan. That's what you see today. They always want to take pictures of tourists down here, man. They always want to take pictures, man, like this is a zoo. All right, we not the zoo, man. We not monkeys, man. You devil. Go ahead.
It's verse 22. For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you.
Yeah.
And joy is come unto me from the Holy One.
Right.
Because of the mercy which shall soon come unto you from the everlasting, our Savior.
Yeah. So the Most High is merciful. Even though he punishes, he's still merciful. He punishes so we can learn from our mistakes, man. Okay? So he say, hey, you rebelled against me, you broke my covenant, I gotta get you. I'm a man of my word. I told you to Moses what was gonna happen. So I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna send these curses up on you. I'm gonna punish you. But also, you're gonna learn again of me, and you're gonna learn why I done you like that, and you're gonna repent, and I'm gonna show you mercy and deliver you out of this condition. So he asked me why we catch so much hell is because we broke the statute, law, and commandment of the Heavenly Father and His Son. He said, why would a God do that? Hey, he's a balanced power and he's merciful, man. Just like I told him, I said, you have a child and you whooping, okay? And you whooping or you chastising, they learn from their mistakes. So elect is learning from mistakes, how they rebelled against YAHAWASHI. And they observing and watching everything that's going on in the world, and they see the wickedness and they understand the righteousness according to the scriptures, and they bring them back to balance, man. Okay? So they balance, man. These people that's walking around, all they know is wickedness, and they're in a confused state. So they not balanced, man. They off. Okay? They're not right in the mind. So go ahead.
All right, this is verse 23. For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but the Most High will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever.
Yeah, with joy and gladness forever. So that's what it's going to be. But I mean, the whole chapter good, But you brothers can read it on your own time. But the whole chapter good. But I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna jump into something else. But that's what I was dealing with when I was over there. When I went over there to do a video with Baphomet to do a video about Baphomet or with Baphomet, okay, over there. And I was doing it to condemn America, okay, in Little Rock, and to show you how wicked this place is, man. This place, this world is governed by the elites, okay? The Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Woodburns, the Oppenheimers. You know, the people who behind the scenes running everything, the top family, the Rothschilds, who running everything, they control this wicked earth, man. And you had Jacob Rothschild say the economic system of America is, you know, is becoming a problem, man. And then you had over there in Turkey, they was burning the American dollar bill, man. You know, Trump did put sanctions on Turkey, but that's prophecy, man, because Turkey gonna end up leaning towards Russia, man. They all gonna come against America, man. So hey, man, it is what it is. And these elites, Jacob Rothschild, man, he knows that what's going on in the world, things are becoming difficult. It's not the same. They know that, man. They can see the forecast, man. They know that things are changing, man. They know that, man. And it's changing because the word of YAHAWASHI is being pushed out on the planet, man. These prophecies are coming to pass, man. So you got Jacob Rothschild, hey, they get nervous, man. So if he coming out and getting nervous, the rest of them getting nervous, man. You know, he's just the one that's speaking, Mr. Burns on the Simpsons.
Hey, come.
Yeah, that's who he is, Mr. Burns on the Simpsons. But you can drop that. And Jeremiah 5 and 6. Yeah, so they see what's going on, man. Trump putting terror on these nations, man. They all gonna come against America, man. And they try to say, oh, it was a priest that was over there. And then the Roman Catholic Church, they've been jammed up with their pedophilia, man, for years, man. They've been sweeping their pedophilia, man, up under the rug, man. They've been jamming up that for years, man. You know, that ain't gonna stop, man, until Babylon get destroyed, man. They just gonna move them fake servants of the Lord to another location. That's it, man. That's all. Them demons, they gonna move them demons, them wicked spirits to another location, man. And now you had an incident over there in England, Arkansas. Now, England, Arkansas is about, where we at right now, we downtown Little Rock. And England, Arkansas is about 15 minutes from here, okay? 15 minutes from here going east. Now, you had the Edomite, police officer / slave patrol, like a leopard, watching Jake, okay? Like a leopard watching Jake, okay? And Jake was in their own neighborhood, so-called, in their own neighborhood. And they were finna film and shoot video. And wherever they went, you had Esau following them. Slave patrol followed him. And he had all this tactical gear on like he was in Afghanistan. Okay? And when you look at this guy, because this is a video that's on the web down here in Arkansas, okay? And England, Arkansas, like I said, is like 15 minutes away going east, okay? And that's part of Lonoke County. And the police officer, he lived and worked in Lonoke, I want to say. Slave Patrol, he lived and worked in Lonoke, but he got fired from Lonoke, okay? Because he couldn't get along with the police officer. But basically, he was a so-called nationalist. In other words, he was a racist. He was for his people. He didn't want to deal with no so-called Negro, okay? But he got fired from that, and he got set up in England. And England is part of Lonoke County. And when he was in England, Arkansas, okay? when he was in England, Arkansas, he was in the neighborhood where Jake was. And Jake was walking around, finna shoot a video, filming, and Jake was watching as the slave patrol was following him, right? And I'm gonna have the brother read this, because I'm gonna make a point.
People in England were asking today, is this an isolated incident or a systematic problem? The men involved say they did nothing wrong and think both the officer and the chief should be held accountable.
With all the racial discrimination that's going on across the world, it's like, will I be another victim? Will I be a statistic?
On July 21st, DeMarcus Bunch and his cousin, Shannon Scribner, were in their hometown of England, Arkansas to shoot a music video. Bunch says from the first moments they entered the small town, Officer Michael Moore was following closely.
He drove through and he noticed that we were parked over there. He kind of just slowed down, and I guess to see who we were. He then went up to the stoplight. He went down that street and he came back across the gravel there. Then he parked right over there in the grass, and he just sat there up until, we left.
Feeling uncomfortable, Bunch says he and the crew drove to their final destination, the neighborhood where they grew up.
I mean, initially I was wondering, why is he doing this? We're in, small England. Everybody knows everybody.
The officer pulled in shortly after them.
And he slowed down, again, just staring to see what we were doing. So that's when my cousin and he said, hey man, let's go let him know who we are and what we're doing.
Bunch and Scribner's uncle is also an England police officer. The cell phone video taken by Bunch picks things up from there.
I'm Mike Moore. All right.
With Dale Scribner nephew.
Yeah, we're there just trying to record a video.
We just noticed you've been following us everywhere.
Right now?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you don't belong in my city.
We're from here.
But you understand, I know who my people are, right? Who belongs here, who doesn't?
Who don't?
We got gang wars going on. We got all kinds of stuff. And I come from the big city where this stuff's small.
Yeah.
Okay? So, that's cool. Do your thing.
You said we don't belong in your city, though?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. I have never seen you here before, and I know almost everybody.
Man, I grew up in 101.
Well, good.
I graduated from England High.
Well, good for you. My name's Mike Moore.
You all right?
Okay? I'm not from here. Step away from my car. I'm about to get my dog out.
The officer stayed in the area for nearly 3 minutes. Where did y'all go from there? How did you decide what you were going to do?
I talked it over with my uncle, and that's when, he kind of took matters into his hands.
His uncle, Kevin Scribner, suggested they reach out to EPD Chief Dana Powell directly.
We wanted to give the chief the opportunity to actually perform her investigation, and so we held the video close to our chest and waited for her to provide a response.
It has been 15 days since the men filed their official complaint. They say they still haven't received their copies or the findings of the police harassment investigation. Tuesday, they released the video online. Chief Powell would not agree to go on camera. Throughout my investigation, I found that Officer Michael Moore came to EPD from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. He was terminated from his role there. Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley told me this, quote, "It is not a race issue, it is a personality issue. He was terminated from Lonoke County Sheriff's Office because he couldn't get along with other officers and other agencies."
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the everlasting shall spoil them.
Right.
A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces.
Shall be torn.
Shall be torn.
Torn.
Shall be torn
Yeah.
in pieces.
Right.
Because their transgressions are many, and their backsliding are increased.
Yeah, read it again.
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the everlasting shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities.
Oh, that a leopard shall watch over their cities. So what Jeremiah is saying is, if Israel broke the covenant, they exposed to the nations and the elements that the nation brings. Okay? They don't get robbed and slaughtered. Okay? They don't have no protection. So that's why Israel is catching hell, because they don't have no protection. 2/3 don't have no protection. They're just being slaughtered. Okay? Now it says a leopard shall watch over the city. Now that Edomite slave patrol, he was like a leopard. He was watching them wherever they was going, because he was looking at them like a prey, man. He was ready to do something to them, man. Okay? So Jake just mind their business, but you got an Edomite slave patrol hovering around in his car like a leopard, looking at the prey, looking at Jake as the prey. So read that again.
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the everlasting shall spoil them.
Yeah, that's a symbolic for the nations. Okay? The Most High put the spirit on Jeremiah to use slang talk for the nation. So he called the nation wolves and lions. Okay? Which is a parable. Go ahead.
A leopard shall watch over their cities.
A leopard shall watch over the cities. So these Edomite police officers, slave patrols, they leopards, man. They watching over the cities, man. Wherever Jake is, they watching him, man. And they besieging Jake in every ghetto, man. Okay?
That's true, if I may say.
Go ahead.
I came from up north, right?
Right.
And I worked outside the city limits,
Right.
in a small little area.
Right.
And they had the sheriff police department, the state patrol police department, the highway patrol stationed in them areas. And I actually encountered a co-worker that I worked at that was actually going to school to become a state patrol.
Okay. Okay. So you encountered a police through where you was working at, and he was going to become a police officer. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this is what he told me out of his mouth, that they were basically trained to stereotype, and they were sent to the city.
Right.
So everything they would get trained on, like you're saying, you know, and they would go and practice it and do it in the city. They wouldn't do it in their area.
Right.
But that's where their stations were located.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying, like you're saying, you know, they would...
Yeah, they would prey on Jake, man, like leopards, man. Okay? So these Edomites are being trained just to target the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are Israelites, man. They're being trained to target you, man. They profiling you, man. Any move you make, they watch you like a leopard, man. Okay? So them young guys that was over there in Lone Oak, they was being watched by a leopard, and they didn't even know it. And it's prophecy. If they understood the scriptures and they was in life, they would have known, look, the reason why this happened to us, because we broke the statute, laws, and commandments, and we need to save it, and the Most High using these devils as a leopard to destroy us, man. Go ahead.
Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces.
Going out thence, what? From the Most High. Okay? Because you broke their yoke, which is the covenant. Go ahead.
Because their transgressions are many, and their backsliding are increased.
Yeah, and that backsliding are increased. Jake probably smoked a blunt, got long hair like a woman, okay? Changing his position of order, going long hair when she ain't keeping the Nazarite vow, okay? Okay? Jake ain't doing that, and they didn't deal with dreadlocks, they dealt with braids. And there's certain procedures that you go through to deal with the Nazarite vow. But Jake is being rebellious. They would grow their hair long, right? And that's a trait of a woman. Okay, that's a trait of a woman outside of the Nazarite vow. Okay, and then you got these women shaving their head bald, okay, completely bald, okay, and that's a trait as they putting themselves in the position of a man, so they change the position, okay, and that's what that Baphomet statue is set up to do. Bring their vibration more into the earth, man. So they worship there behind the scenes, but they put it out in the forefront, man. They start not to even care, man. You know what I'm saying? But read that again,
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them,
Right.
and a wolf of the everlasting
Five. You know what I'm saying? Start from the top again. 5 and 6.
Salaki, I've been saying everlasting.
Yeah. It's a slip of the tongue. It
Yeah, it's
happens,
a lot.
man. It happens. As a matter of fact, it happens, man. It's a slip of the tongue, man. It's in the word small too, man. It's a slip of the tongue, man. It happens, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, want me to read it again?
Yeah. It's a slip of the tongue. Hold on, let me grab this right here. It says, this is Rock 19 and 16, right? In the Apocrypha, in Ecclesiastes. It's a Rock 19 and 16. There is one that slippeth in his speech, but not from his heart. Meaning you slip in your word, but not from your mind. You don't slip from YAHAWASHI on the side. You still got faith in it. Okay? It says, and who is he that had not offended with his tongue? Because people might hear that and say, dang, he stumbled in that word, he slipped in that word. So you know they might get offended behind that. But it's okay, man. He didn't slip with his mind, man. Okay, he still pleasing God about shot. So hey, that was prophecy. It played out right there. It's written in the scripture. So everything that is written is written by our learning, man. We speaking this bastard tongue, man. We speaking this bastard tongue, man. And when we get in the kingdom of heaven, we're not gonna be speaking no English, man. That's why that Jake, when he was asking me, he said, why we speak this language? Hey, we discontinue from our heritage, man. We're gonna go back to speaking fluent Hebrew in the kingdom, man. So hey, man, we playing out this part for this movie for a period of time, but before you know it, it's gonna be done away with, man. And we're gonna go back to our pure language, which is Hebrew, man. We're gonna speak it fluently to each other, man. Not this mess that we're speaking today, this English, man. So-called English. So go ahead, bro.
Hey, forgive me, man. Forgive me.
Yeah.
This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them.
Yeah. A wolf of the evening shall spoil them. Spoil meaning rob. So these other nations are going to bring what they doing to themselves to Israel, man. Israel gonna have to face the elements of these other nations. With the other nations rob each other. So hey, that right there is gonna be placed on Israel, and Israel gonna be getting robbed by these other nations. You know, it's open season on Israel. The Negro Latino and Native American. Go ahead.
A leopard shall watch over their cities.
A leopard shall watch over their cities. The police officer, slave patrol. Go ahead.
Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces.
Yeah, that's what happened to Jake. Man, you might see a leopard, a police officer, slave patrol, pull over Jake and start hitting him in his jaw. Bing, bing, bing. Start hitting him in his jaw, man, for nothing. Or he might use a taser. He might grab a taser and see it's a taser, and he was like, then in his mind, like, nah, I'm gonna get the gun. And he might point it at Jake, but he might not try to fire, but he ended up firing because the Most High caused it to happen like this. Because Jake is wicked, man. The Most High judging Jake. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen videos where the police officer, it'll be police officers around each other, right? And they'll be talking to Jake, and you'll have another Jake just hit him. Bing! Hit him in the jaw. And keep punching. Bing! Bing! Until he falls. You know what I'm saying? And they go to stomping him. I've seen videos like that. Hey. You know? Go ahead.
Because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased.
Yeah, their backslidings are increased, man. So that's why Jake gets judged, man. That's why they getting judged, man. Okay? And this prophecy, if the leopard was going to guard the city, man, which are the slave patrol. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you'll be riding by, and they'll come out of nowhere so fast, whoop, they had the lights on. And you like, man, what in the world? Oh, and then they ask for your license and registration. You go to reach for it, they say, oh, he got a gun. You out of there. You know what I'm saying? You out of there. You know? That's how it is, man. You know? Jake had no hedge around him, man. Jake had no protection. Just like the Most High that Job was having, the Most High and Satan was having, oh yeah. And yeah, the Most High and Satan was having counsel about Job. And Job not no Edomite. Job is an Israelite.